beautiful soul. Welcome. This is Rochelle with the Healing Rose, and today I have just received the Queen of the Sun Oracle by Stacey DeMarco. So it says guidance through solar and seasonal energies. A sister deck to the Queen of the Moon Oracle. This oracle focuses on solar power, powerful, extroverted, fertile, and expansive. It details cycles and seasonal aspects with a spectacular 11-year solar cycle to observe, as well as the cycles of the Celtic wheel of the year and phenomena like eclipses and flares. It also features the wisdom of amazing goddesses and gods of the sun from all over the world. So this is the same artist, Kinga Britshagy, who has done the same artwork as the Queen of the Moon, which I received and absolutely loved. I had pre-ordered this because I thought it sounded interesting, and then was very curious about her writing. I had only at that point had one of her oracles, so I loved the book on this so much, so I was really happy with this one. With my pre-order, that is. Okay, so it's a nice matte box, so it opens so easy, which I love. Oh, and it is glossy, but at least, all right, so inside of the box is cute. At least the box is easy to open, so I do love that. And interesting that we've gone with the gold on here, and this is gilded. I love that. Really, really lovely, beautiful. So it does have a bit of a bow to it, and that I often find happens with gilded decks. If there's a moisture change from where they've been manufactured, that often there is a bit of a bow or shift to the cards, and that usually wears out. It usually, as there's wear and tear on your deck, that bow generally leaves the deck, especially if you're spending more time shuffling and giving them a bend in the opposite direction. So, all right. So it seems like, all right, and we have a bit of sticking, which often happens in the foiling process as well. So it feels, let me see, let me grab one of these out just so I can compare. It feels like slightly thinner cardstock, but it does have a nice spring to it, but it is a slightly thinner cardstock. So, and I think we're seeing that with a lot of deck creators. I do like the backs. The backs feel really nice. I really like this design, and it makes much more sense to have this gold on here, because one of the things with Queen of the Moon, having those yellow moons on the back was always kind of a little bit off, so I do feel like this is already quite a cohesive look. Oh, what a beautiful, beautiful card. Okay. So let's just start going through these cards here. Action, resilience, okay, focus, desire. Really beautiful cards. I'm very excited for these. All right, so we have, and this will happen often. Often if you just flex the deck a little bit back and forth, the cards will separate, but they are sticking a little bit, and that is quite normal with the foiling. So if you get your deck and you're like, why are the cards stuck together? This is really lovely. I am really, really liking this. I think I actually am appreciating this maybe even more than the Queen of the Moon. So solar cycle 9. So the first section we have, these are all solar cycle. Reformation. All right, so solar minimum. Queen of the Sun. Aurora. Absolutely stunning cards. All right, so these ones are a little sticky again. I would have sat and gone through and unstuck these cards beforehand, but honestly, I just walked back from the mailbox and I was so excited to open it that Sol Invictus Life. All right, absolutely beautiful. So these are gods and goddess section. Ooh, look at Hathor and Flora, Bridget. That is lovely. Okay, that's 19. It's sometimes, every once in a while, it just feels like they're a little bit sticky. Sekhmet, I love it. All right, we got a couple stuck together here. Absolutely lovely the way that these have been done. Interesting, Balder. Very interesting. Ra. Really interesting depiction of Ra, I have to say. All right, so now we have our seasonal ones. We have Letha, Lammas, Maron, Samhain. Very interesting. Yule, Imbolc, Ostera, Beltane, Eclipse, Flares, Reflection. Okay, we have reciprocity with photosynthesis. All right, and these ones are just a little bit stuck. Your Year, so progression, and the sun, the center. Very beautiful, lovely artwork on this. All right, so let's see how these guys shuffle. And I am expecting, because I have had foiled glossy cards before, that there may be some initial sticking in the shuffle. There may be a little, that wasn't too bad. Might be a little stiffness right at the beginning. They do sort of have this tendency to want to kind of clump together the first, 20 or 30 shuffles. And then they start to release a little bit. So, and I think already it's just a little bit straighter. Some of that bow is already coming out of it. So, yeah. Well, it sounds like my grandson is knocking at the door. Let me just pause this and come back. All right, and we're back. So we apparently had just lost a drumstick into a large water bottle, and it was stuck. So now that that's sorted, let's see. Oh, let's take that card. Why not? Yeah, let's just do this one. Okay. So what does it say? Card number 15. So, as we're looking at the guidebook, because I get ahead of myself, I get so excited. So we have 10 solar cycles, solar minimum, the Queen of the Sun, and then we have our gods and goddesses, and then we have our seasons and some different aspects of the sun. So there's some spreads in here. seasonal spread, directional, using the cards. Okay. So the book looks like it is very much set up the same way the Queen of the Moon is set up. So that's nice. I like that. Okay, so one of the solar deities, recovery. We can recover from all kinds of trauma without building true self-esteem from the inside out, and without a true love of who we are. We may seem to always be limited in what we do. Choosing ourselves first matters. And we have an affirmation: I can and will recover. And then there's a lot of details about this particular goddess, and it gives us a companion stone. So that's quite lovely. I like that. It's very simple, clear, concise messages right at the beginning. Easy to see. All right, so, ooh, look at that preparation. I love it. These are absolutely beautiful cards, and I am going to be very excited to work with some of the spreads in here. Absolutely beautiful. And now that they've shuffled for a bit, they actually feel like they slide a lot better. So it doesn't give us a perfect fan, but it does slide just a little bit. So that's kind of nice. I think that's going to loosen up even more with a little bit more shuffling. Yeah. It's the more you use them, the better the shuffle will be. So I don't mind the backs too much. I like this red and brown. I wasn't sure what effect the backs of the cards were going to have, but they are absolutely beautiful. I do prefer this much more to the Oracle of the Universe that I did have, that I had decided to declutter from my collection. I loved the Queen of the Moon, and I'm really excited for Queen of the Sun. And I'm sort of fascinated with the idea of actually blending these two decks together, which I never do with any of my decks because it drives me crazy when the backs are different. But I'm actually thinking it might be really interesting to see the differences, right? Because this is a very sort of activating focused, what you can do. And this, there's a very different energy in this deck. So I'm kind of curious to see which one is going to end up becoming my favorite, because I was very, very fond of Queen of the Moon. So I think this one's going to be just gorgeous. It does have a very solar feel to it. It does have a sort of really interesting quality that actually feels like it has been captured. So I'm quite excited to work with this one. I wasn't sure what to expect after I was excited for Queen of the Moon and then disappointed with Oracle of the Universe, and I wasn't sure whether or not to be excited or just kind of wait and see, but I do really like it. And it is definitely, the more the cards are handled, the easier they are sliding around. So that's the thing with glossy decks and foiled decks, they do take a little bit more work right at the beginning and a little bit more manipulation of the deck to make them want to shuffle smoothly. But I do think this one is going to be quite worthwhile to have in my collection, so I'm very excited. Oh. All right, thank you so much for hanging out and watching. And if you're still here at the end, you're amazing. I hope you have a fabulous day and an absolutely wonderful week. Take care.